What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? It's Johnny. This is Wednesday, April 8th, 10:30 a.m. here in beautiful Sydney, Australia. Wherever you guys are tapping in, I say welcome. I truly appreciate the support. We are a growing community. To become part of our world famous, Johnny Says, boxing betting Discord. We're approaching 500 JSB insiders. You can become part of our very intelligent, highly skilled, and crafted community. Click that link. You can join here on YouTube, become a JSB insider on YouTube, get all my picks, get elevated status on the live streams, get members only content. There's a merchandise store on the shop now. You can check that out. It's a couple bucks a month. You get access to the Discord. Become a Patreon as well. You get all my picks. You get members only live streams on Patreon. You also get access to the Discord. Whichever way you choose, it's a couple bucks. Become part of our community. I guarantee you will learn something about the greatest sport on earth. Guys, today marks almost 7 days in a row of boxing. People, I'm watching boxing con. I'm watching the Brits right now, this channel that I watch, and they're breaking down Connor, Benn, and Regis. I'm seeing a lot of emotions. I'm seeing people getting really emotional about Connor Benn this week. It's crazy. Is Connor Benn your favorite fighter? No. But if you're a guy like myself and like who I'm watching, these three guys here from the UK, and people watch your content to get opinions, perspectives, betting leans, you gotta drop the emotions. You know what I'm saying? You can't let emotions misconstrue your cognition when thinking about who's going to win a fight. And it just seems Connor Benn is so polarizing in the UK. People, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of hate on these content creators. So I'm going to just leave it at that. By now, you should know where I'm going with that pick, considering if you're a JSB insider. I've already posted 4 tickets, guys. It's only Wednesday. It is Tuesday in America. It's Wednesday here in Sydney. There's 4 tickets already that are live for members. The fights start in less than 10 hours. We have an Australian card headlined by my boy Liam Talava'a. This is an Aussie domestic C-level fight card, so keep that in mind. But you Aussies, the odds are up on Sportsbet, and you Brits, the odds are up on Bet365. There's a double that I like. I've given away already. It's a plus money double. It's a money line and it's a method of victory combined for tonight's card in Australia. That is live. I've given you my long parlay. That is up in the members only section. I have a knockout prop. That is up as well. And then I also just posted about an hour ago a Japanese double. All of these tickets are plus money. If you're new to the channel, every ticket I give you is guaranteed to be plus money. So you're at least going to double whatever you put in. That being said, click that link that's pinned right there. It'll stay in the chat. And all I ask for you who are watching this live, and whenever you watch this, whether it's on the uploads, like the video. Don't force me to ask you for things. It's really unbecoming, you know? You guys are the best. Let's get into this. Power Kennel, what's up, guys? Power Kennel, he's a JSB insider. I got some questions. Hey, man, I'm here for you. Let's see if we can answer them. We know Richard is the hardest puncher Jamie has faced, but both of his knockout losses were suspect. One was a cut. So both of TKV's losses. One was a cut, and the other was an illegal punch during the break, but did see his eyes swell up versus Clark. True. Here's the question. His right hook is devastating, and Jamie been hit by everybody with that punch. But does Richard have more volume than Jamie? So you're saying, so you're obviously relating to a prop that I played. Yeah, there's a prop that I played. Let's see what the odds. Yeah, it's plus money. Look, you guys have to understand, from my perspective, you guys come to me for value. So I'm finding value for you guys every week, right? Whatever your bankroll is, this is one of those fights, Jamie TKV versus Richard Riakpo, where I'm not betting a lot of money. Maybe I should start this is like a builder bet. put a little bit on it, get the W, and build your bankroll on it. Don't invest everything into this fight because we know Ryakpo cut his teeth at cruiser. We don't know what he looks like at heavyweight. We know TKV, in my opinion, no shade on TKV. He's a hard worker, but I don't really rate him as a boxer. What the game plan for TKV is going to be get on the inside and win more rounds and win a points decision. So I feel if you guys like Jamie TKV, he's the underdog, so you should take Jamie TKV on plus money as the dog. But also, I don't see him stopping Ryakpo. So if you like Jamie TKV, take him on points. I don't see that happening. I think Ryakpo is going to use his size, his power. People call him stiff. I mean, I just watched his last tape against the 16-0 fluffed up heavyweight where he stopped him, knocked him down a couple times. I'm just leaning on the fact that Ryakpo is a better boxer. He has more power. I think it's going to be the length and the power. And people are trying to compare Chris Billum Smith to TKV. That's insane to me. Even though Chris Billum Smith fought TKV and Billum Smith's style is to get on the inside, Billum Smith is a lot to deal with, man. He's big. He's aggressive. He has a gas tank. He has an engine. He has all. And even though he's not a heavyweight, I mean, I guarantee by fight night, I'd like to see what CBS was weighing. We saw CBS put that same style on Brandon Glanton, and my point is, I don't expect TKV to be able to get inside on Ryakpo and put on a Chris Billum Smith performance in terms of having that much success against Ryakpo. I think Ryakpo is going to be a little more craftier than people think. I like his power. I think his power is going to carry. He's a massive dude. So do I like TKV to beat Ryakpo? No way, man. No way. And the odds aren't that good. So you have to get sexy on it. I'm playing Ryakpo by stoppage. If you like TKV, take him on the money line or take him on points. Luis Carlo Trigiano, one of my favorite names to say on the channel. I have 0 odds for the Aussie card. Well, what do we always say? The best bet we will ever make is the one we don't place. So you could be dodging a bullet here. Okay, so Julius, TKV on the money line. And I see the TKV on the money line is the way to go if you're a TKV fan. You're thinking that he's going to outwork Ryakpo. You think he's going to have the volume to beat him. You think you like his work on the inside. I'm banking on the fact that Ryakpo's power, his jab, is going to touch TKV early, and I think it's going to deter him from wanting to make those choices on the inside. I don't think people call him super stiff. I've seen a lot stiffer heavyweights in recent times than Richard Ryakpo. I'm not that financially invested in this fight. I do have Ryakpo on 2 tickets, so I have no doubt that he beats TKV. Hey, Johnny, I like Fury on points, Conor Benn on points, plus 1,800. Get after it, Fit J. I think I like Tyson Fury. I think Conor Benn stops Regis. Richard has 0 inside game. I wouldn't say he has 0 inside game. Is he comfortable fighting on the inside? No. Does he want to be there? No. Does he win his fights there? No. It just comes down to, with boxing, you work to your strengths. You know what I'm saying? So to say that he has 0 inside game, I don't know if that's the case. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to win fights there. He knows that's not his strength. He doesn't work a lot there. He's going to work a lot from range. He's going to work a lot from the outside. He's going to want to keep TKV off of him. Did you guys watch TKV versus Fraser Clark? That left a very bad taste in my mouth, mate. That was freaking horrible. That's it's hard for me. Look, I look at TKV, the last performance against Fraser Clark, how that made me feel as a fan, the same way watching Regis versus JoJo, because Regis is fighting. Do you remember how you felt watching Regis versus JoJo as a fan? You're like, oh, God. We were all like, everybody had Regis big, but JoJo was the one who kind of left that fight upping his stock. Like, even though JoJo lost and didn't throw nearly enough punches, he wobbled Regis multiple times. He had the bigger moments, but Regis won. But you didn't turn the TV off and you were like, yeah, Regis is back. Regis is back, baby. That's not what you thought. You were like, ooh, Regis's legs are gone, dude. Regis's balance is gone. Regis's punch resistance is gone. That's what I wrote that. I literally wrote in my journal at night as I was going to bed. P.S. Regis's balance is gone. Note to self. Right before I go to bed, I have a journal. I have my little sleeping hat on. P.S. Note to self. Could you imagine? But to be serious, that's how I felt. And I felt the same way with TKV against Fraser Clark. I was like, what am I watching? Now, Richard Riakpo, one loss, man. All of a sudden, the loss down a division against Chris Billum Smith is a bad lot, man. CBS is a beast, dude. I'm leaning on the fact that CBS is a beast, big, durable. So I think Riakpo's a level above TKV. Boxing fan, we appreciate you, my guy. Mosby's Riakpo knockout, Benn knockout, Fury knockout. Let's. I'm gonna do Mosby. I'm gonna do a knockout parlay. You know how we do. I'm gonna do a knockout. There's like 5 knockouts I like. Don't sleep on the Eye of the Tiger card too. There's an Eye of the Tiger card. There's some good prospects fighting this weekend. What's the kid's name? We won money on him. I think there's a young prospect. He's 9-0. Brian Gorman. Brian Gorman's fighting this weekend. He's 21-0, 9-0. I want Brian Gorman's 21-0 with 16 knockouts. He fights at 140 pounds. We last saw him first, Yomar Alamo. He's a fun guy to watch, man. He's fighting a guy named Eduardo Casamento. Casamento's 12-5. I'm waiting for props to drop there. Casamento's never been stopped. He's a 35-year-old aging Brazilian. Brian Gorman, man, got a little bit of season to him. So that's a fight I'm sort of keeping an eye on, and I'll bring the books up here in a second. Guys, we're 10 minutes in, 40 to 60 of you savages in here. Just like the video for me. Power Kennel. Terrell Adams looked the part. Yeah, so if you guys are in the Discord, one of my clients, I'm his strength coach. He's a Commonwealth Games boxer. We're working on getting him to the Olympics for Australia. And so he's sparred. He's my, without giving my, I keep it anonymous, but yeah, we're getting a lot of info coming in. That's the move. I'm taking Terrell Adams tonight on points. He's a slick boxer, doesn't have a lot of power, but he's a good boxer. And then I'm playing 2 fights on this Aussie card, Power Kennel. Little showtime. It's always a show when you're tapping in, big dog. What's up, Tinio? How do you feel about it? Look, great question, man. Tinio, good to see you on the live stream. How do I feel about El Gallo versus Tension? Look, and if you guys, the longer you're on the channel, the longer you've watched my content, you will know what I'm about to say. I'm an OG MMA fan, writer, interviewer, right? I watch equally as much MMA as I do boxing. I just don't cover it as much as I used to. The channel has become the best sport on earth, boxing. That being said, I remember watching Tension when he was fighting for one championship. One of my good buddies at one time, one of my good mates was a dual champion for one MMA. Aung Lan Sang. Aung Lan Sang was the middleweight champion and the light heavyweight champion. He got dethroned by RDR. That's the promotion RDR came from. Well, one would have like Lethwei fights. They would have MMA kickboxing fights. And Tension was a superstar, mate, in Japan, kickboxer. So when he was seeing all the money coming in boxing, he had that exhibition with Floyd. And that was kind of his sort of litmus test to see if he was going to turn and go from kickboxing to boxing. And Floyd, put it this way, after the exhibition, Tension was in the ring crying. Like he got humbled. But there was something in that performance where he was chasing the money. And I've been sitting here for the last 5, 6, 7 fights since Tension turned pro as a boxer, waiting for that guy that I saw in kickboxing, that star. I just don't see it. Tension's gifts are going to be his hand speed. The thing that made him so amazing in kickboxing was his creativity. His kick and punch selection, his combinations. He would just swarm. Electric. Boxing, you got to be a little bit more, you only have your hands. You have to think a little bit more. There's more strategy in terms of setting things up. And that takes a long time to learn. It's two different. The sport looks the same, but they couldn't be more different in terms of where the fight takes place, the timing, the range, the distance, the counters, the footwork. all of that. It couldn't be more different. All you'd have to do is, I talked about this before on my stream. Being a boxer, I would spar kickboxers all the time in boxing rules. And after a round or two, every kickboxer is like, wow, man, I can't believe how different the space and the footwork is. And that's a real thing. So we're seeing the same pattern. We see tension with under 10 fights. We see El Gallo, who's only 35, with over 40 pro fights. I like Estrada here. I think those odds are crazy. Right now, check your book. The odds currently have Estrada and tension kind of similar. I think Estrada outclasses him easy. Not for Alliance. Yeah, there ain't no inside game. What's up, Brandon V? Hey, we got let's welcome our newest JSB insider. Wizard One is in the house. Newest JSB insider. We're approaching 500, boys. We are growing. Hey, Wizard, to get the Discord link, just go now on my YouTube channel, members only section. You'll see the Discord link. Johnny, can I Zell you or something to join the insider group? You can just click the link, brother. You got two options. Luis, because I have the Discord behind a paywall and it's a month-to-month thing, I keep track of all of the of all of my accounting stuff by the paywall on YouTube and the paywall on Patreon. It's only a couple bucks. You're in what, Venezuela? Are you guys allowed to do it that way? If not, send me a message. MMA better, sup, bro. Do you think Waterman beat Paulo Cuso, and how do you think he'll do tonight? Yeah, Waterman's a big favorite, man. Might as well it's a good time to pull this up. All right, guys. These are the Aussie fights. Yeah, people are expecting Waterman to handle him tonight, MMA better. Terrell Adams. I got Terrell Adams on points here. Clay Waterman, King Davidson. Paulo Cuso's tough too, man. I'm a fan of Cuso. He was just coming off a gimme fight though last weekend on the Zoo undercard. Munir Fatih. So look, he screwed us. He torched us in his last fight. Fatih is a bit of a front runner, meaning that he's either pouring it on you or I don't. He does. It seems like he doesn't like to get hit. Same thing with Sergey Vorobyev. Sergey Vorobyev is a kid who came through Bondi Boxing Club. This is a no bet for me. I don't have skin on the game with Fatih and Vorobyev. If Fatih jumps out like he should, I think the safest bet in this fight is the fight not to go the distance. Fatih versus Vorobyev, but I'm not playing it. The only two I'm playing tonight is Terrell, and shout out to my boy Liam Talava'a. So Liam Talava'a is headlining. Good. I have an interview on my YouTube channel. If you go to interviews from 2021, when Liam was a one-fight pro, when I was managing fighters out of his gym, Bondi Boxing. So you get to kind of see his personality. Really good guy. Came into the sport real late, though. Doesn't have an amateur background, kind of learning on the go. He's been stopped before, but he got his get back. He got stopped against Brandon Gratch. He lost to Brandon Gratch, and then he beat Brandon Gratch, the bull who fights out of Newcastle. And then he's coming off he has that win over Johan Lin, and then he's coming off a decision loss in which I thought it was a lot closer than people thought. He lost a decision, so he needs a win here. And it seems like he's gonna get that win. Fingers crossed. I am kind of betting with my heart a bit because I'm friends with him, and I want to see him do big things for him and his family. So I think he should win that fight. Andre, appreciate all the content, bro. I took your analysis on the Wilder fight, and that Chisora price tag never made sense to me. Minus 190 for Chisora. Had to take. Good boy. I'm glad you didn't listen to me, man. I'm glad you didn't listen to me. Guys, we all the one thing we all have to do is remember that this is not an echo chamber. I am not the end all and be all. I am more of a conduit of information, a conduit of analysis. You could take what you want, what I say. You could throw it all away. You could keep a little bit. I say you find it's usually the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I don't believe in experts. The only experts I believe in life are like heart surgeons or brain surgeons, a medical something that I need my life saved for a life and death surgery. Other than that, dude, anything could happen. We know these fights, they could go either way. I love when I hear stories like Andre, who heard my prediction, my analysis. He knows that I took Chisora, which he lost, and he went the other way and took Wilder. I love hearing that. You know what I'm saying? Because the goal at the end of the day is my goal, number one, is always to educate. I'm a teacher and a coach, right? I'm an author. I'm a writer. I help people. My whole mission in life is to help people. So that's my first objective with all this content is to educate. From there, we're competitive. We like to win. So secondly, it's like, all right, let's get this bag, right? We're gonna win. But nobody's 100% accurate. When the boys in our squad tell me stuff like this, I really appreciate it because I know that we are developing free thinkers. We have an educated chat. You guys are doing your own film study. You're doing your own research, and use a guy like myself as sort of a leveraging tool. You know, like, hey, I've done my film study. I know who I like. What's Johnny saying? Huh? He was right about this, but I don't think he's right about this. I'm gonna go this route. Just do that. That's what I suggest you guys always do. Big parlay. What's up, BPJ? Salute, Johnny. What's up? We got another new member, Danny. Danny just became a member. I love when the new members join up on the live. It's such a cool experience because I find out when you guys find out. Danny, just like our other newest member, get the Discord link. It is pinned in the comments, or my bad. Get the Discord link. It's in the members on YouTube. Have fun in there. It's not just boxing, guys. We have a boxing channel, MMA channel, NBA, soccer. We have NASCAR. We have sports racing. And for you Aussies, we have rugby, AFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, American football. So it's not just boxing. I heard Richard was drained in the CBA. Richard, I heard Riakpo. I mean, the dude is what, 6'5"? He's massive. Doesn't have any body fat. And he can punch. Yeah, I just put Riakpo a level above TKV. I think TKV's work is just sloppy to me. I think he kind of wings and flings. TKV has no power. I think that Richard should be able to control things from this. That's what I'm banking on, guys. You know, in Power Kennel, you know, you bring up good questions. You know, if the strength, the game plan for TKV, get on the inside, outwork Riakpo, break him down, win rounds, win a decision. The game plan for Riakpo is control range, control distance, use your jab, catch TKV coming in, get his respect, make him hesitate, and then slowly set up your backhand or your hook, and then eventually get him out of there. That's what I think is going to happen. And if that does happen, we're going to have a great soundbite. Yeah, Chris Billum Smith. I found odds on this other book might not dodge a thing. TKB was on Team GB and Richard has very few. Yeah, Richard doesn't have a deep amateur background, but look, I had a good conversation with Tommy Raynone about this, about why it's not significant to use universally the idea of somebody being on their national team. You know what I mean? Being on the American national team might be something, but being on like you know, the Dominican national team, considering, you know, the amount of people. So it's not always, you know, being on Team Great Britain isn't a big deal to me. We've seen, where's Tony Yoka from? You got stoppage for Ben. What are your thoughts over? Look, guys, the over and under, and I'm being fully transparent with you guys. When I give you my predictions or when you see my tips, you guys always see where my money's going. If you guys aren't in our Discord, if you're not a JSB insider, you're only seeing our wins after. But all the insiders, they get all of my tickets before the fights go down. They see my skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just telling you. You're seeing my tickets beforehand. I don't give that away publicly. That's what creates our group, okay? I'm not an over and under guy. It's just not my style of betting. There are guys who make a living on the over and unders. It's just, you know, when you get comfortable with a specific style with anything, whether it's, you know, you like doing the merengue or you like doing the salsa or you like, you know, the popping, you got your style. Over and unders aren't my style. I like method of victories. I like dogs. I like parlays. So that's on you. That's on you, big dog. You out here on an island. I'll give you the stoppage, but if you want to get sexy, that's on you. My sister, Sue's Animal Channel. I love you, Sue. Guys, wherever you are in the world, we're floating between 70 and 90 in this live stream. We're 25 minutes in. I'm going to stay on for about an hour. Make sure you like this. Ben going to get a highlight reel stoppage. Jay, have a look at your schedule either tomorrow or the next day, and let's get you on the live stream. Let me know if you're busy. Connor, Ben, I think when we're looking at the politics of this matchup, when we're looking at the intention, why was this matchup made? Connor, Ben versus Regis. It's what Julius is saying. Think about all the marketing going into Conor Benn. People were scratching their head. They're like, what? Zuffa gave him what? This fight is being aired where? Where is this fight taking place? Huh? Regis Prograis. What? All of these things. And then you mix that with what Regis looked like against JoJo. JoJo cut his teeth at 126. Look, Regis is 37. He's not 27. It's very important for us as sharp, call us what you will, sharps, handicappers, content creators, whatever you want to call them. I call myself, at the end of the day, I'm a boxing fan, right? It's very important for us to never get caught in that trap of looking at an aging fighter and getting emotionally attached to his entire body of work. Has Regis ever been stopped? No, he hasn't. Has Regis fought at a higher level than Conor? Yes. Has Regis been a world champion? Yes. Is Conor Benn the most skilled practitioner? No. Has Conor had a knockout in recent memory? No. So it's easy to kind of just play the statistics. But sometimes, and we see this a lot in boxing, you have to have an intuitiveness to your game when you're predicting these. You have to see things coming before they come. You have to be the quarterback hitting your receiver, streaking across the field, and throwing the ball in a position before the receiver is there. That's what this is. That's what Seb knocking out Keith Thurman was. You have to be intuitive about this. Read, all the signs are there to fade Regis by stoppage. It's not one of these matchups, and Regis isn't that fighter that you could just stand on the never being stopped sort of thing. That's not what things are trending. That's not what we're seeing. What are the young kids saying? I'm going to fade him. This is, seeing that joke. The writing is on the wall, per se. Danny, what's up, Johnny? Just showing where can I find the Discord link. Appreciate the support. Danny, the Discord link, you know what? I'm going to repost it right now, bro. So for all the boys who are on the live right now, who just joined, I'm putting the Discord link in the members only section right now on YouTube. All right, I just posted it. TKV versus Fraser, maybe one of the worst heavyweights ever. It was, dude, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Chisora versus Wilder was at least entertaining and not really a clinch fest. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. The thing about Fraser is he adhered to TKV, the hugging, the grabbing. It was bad, man. Ryakpo, big boy, man. I'm gonna get on the stick. Bah! He could crack. Let's go. I think TKV's gonna walk onto something. We have 2 Pro Box cards this week. Guys, let me show you something which is insane. We have fights 7 days in a row, basically. Okay, let me move my big head real quick. Wrong button. Okay, let me remove Julius too real quick. Okay, so we have fights 6 out of 7 days in a row. So today we have fights that start in about 6 hours. This is the Australian card, right? Today. No fights tomorrow, but Friday. Luis Santana. This is the Eye of the Tiger card, which we haven't even spoken about. There's some good fights on this card. Friday. Saturday, Herbert Conceição. This is a fun fight, man. This is Pro Box. And then we have, right after the Pro Box card, we have Japan. Takami. If you haven't seen Suboi fight, this is a fun fight. El Gallo versus Tenshin. And then Sunday, we have the other Pro Box card, Brian Gorman, Felix Cash. We have the English card, Hooney, Fraser Clark, TKV versus Ryakpo, Conor Benn versus Regis, Tyson versus Makhmudov. The other Pro Box card is Vito Melnicki, Brandon Adams. Monday, I think this is Japan. Simsri versus Cordova. Tuesday, Yamaguchi versus Yoshida. So guys, what did I tell you guys last week? What did I tell you guys? I said And I'm going to tell you guys the same thing this week. Is one of the biggest tricks about winning consistently betting on boxing is knowing which fights to avoid. And over time you'll get a good you like if there's just trust your instinct. If you don't like Jamie TKV versus Ryakpo, don't bet on it. There are a lot of other options to wager on, especially it's only Wednesday morning here in Sydney. A lot of you guys, 60% of you guys are in America. It's Tuesday. So I guarantee in the next 24 hours your books will open up. Oh, so you weren't able to bet on the Australian card tonight. It's okay. If anything, the smartest bet you can make is the one you don't make. But there's going to be a lot of action in the next 5, 6 days. So just kind of look at your books. I would invest in a notebook. I would be old fashioned like I am. I would write things down, and I would make a list and fights to asterisk by. Keep an eye on this fight, and then have some boundaries. Be like, if you're a parlay better, be like, all right, I'm only going to do a parlay. I'm never going to put more than 3 fights on a parlay. I'm never gonna bet a 10-1 favorite. I'm never gonna, depending on your bankroll, I'm never gonna chase. Have some rules and some foundations of how you bet, because just like anything in life, if you want to be successful about it, you have to have systems in place. You just can't. It just can't be a free for all. Like, oh shit, it's the weekend. Who's fighting? Boom. Hopefully I win. Oh shit, I didn't win. Like, no, have some professionalism to your game. Yeah, I'm waiting. I haven't. I'm waiting, Jerry. There's a not yet. I'm waiting. I'm gonna get a dog in there. There's two in the UFC that I like. We haven't even talked about the UFC. There's two dogs right now I like in the UFC, but there's a boxing one. I'm just waiting for the odds to drop. Highlight ref stoppage. I hope Regis can get at least surviving. I could see the UK, the classic UK on the feet stoppage by volume. Regis wobbling, guarding up. Connor just pouring it on. I see Fury stopping Machmanov early 1-6. You think Fury? The thing why I'm hesitant with Tyson is that he hasn't been. We haven't seen him. You think he's just gonna pour it on? Hopefully we get mean Fury. We don't get happy Fury. Anybody giving Fraser Clark a chance? I'm not. You know how I feel about Justice Hooney. I think Justice Hooney's world level. I know people are suspicious because this will be his first fight since he really, let the crystal ball slip against Wardley. So this is his first fight back, but this is how he fights. Fraser Clark, mate. I mean, Justice should steamroll him. I appreciate you, Spartan Child. John McGanna, what's up? We appreciate you here. Pero is an upset of the month. Miller looks like a ruined boxer. That's next week, right, boys? Ford Foster. Oh, I got shock all day. Dude. If this, the crazy thing about Savage, Ray, is I still think Ray is developing. I do. I think Ray is still getting better, but I think this version is shock, especially that last version we saw him not too long ago. This dude is a well-oiled machine. This is him at his best. He's in his physical prime. Everything is clicking on all cylinders. There's no hesitation in his game. He's just free in there, and he is a joy to watch. I think Ford is probably a year or so away from being at it. I still think we're seeing like a guy who's still kind of developing. Is he a puncher? Should he be aggressive? Should he be counter? But he's still figuring things out. With Shock Foster, this dude knows exactly who he is. I love Foster in that fight. Yeah, Sue. Sup, Johnny? Have you seen anything on Fury's socials regarding his condition? I have. Is Nick still coming on Thursday to discuss? Yeah, so Fury, we talked about this yesterday on the live stream. I think it was, Fury spent a lot of time in Thailand, right? Training. They do a lot of these fitness camps. I don't know about his sparring. I don't know if, unless he brought guys in, you're not going to find many 6'7" boxers in Thailand that you could spar with. But they are famous for these sort of combat training camps to where you're doing ice baths, saunas, you're doing your cardio, you're doing your skill work. They feed you. You're in like a resort, and you're really getting your mind and body in a good place to fight. I know that because it's very common for us down here in Sydney to jump on a plane for 7 to 8 hours and go to Thailand, Phuket, Bangkok, that sort of thing. Phuket's the more popular one where Tiger Muay Thai is, or Tiger used to be. So that's what I heard. I'd like to know if he was is he still sparring at this stage of the game? And is Nick still coming on this Thursday afternoon? I'll let you know about that. We just got so much boxing, guys. This is a boxing first show, so I'll let you know. London Ross, Julius Bama. Do you think he goes past 5? Another JSB insider. Welcome Dan, the man with a plan, to the squad. That's a name I could get around. Dan, the man with a plan. Yo, click. I put the Discord link, boys, in the YouTube member section. Johnny, are you more confident in Fatih? I'm not betting Fatih. Fatih screwed me last time he fought, guys. So we got cooked last, and we had. Yeah, I'm not betting. Munir Fatih is a fade for me. I'm not betting him. He should knock out Vorbev, but I'm not betting on that. If anything, take the fight not to go the distance, because Vorbev doesn't like to get hit either. Liam Talava, money line, confident in, to answer your question. Mervin, another tough week of fight. We will find our every week we find victories, though. Boy, we are archaeologists out here. We are on an archaeological dig, sifting through the sand and dirt, finding the bones, piecing the fossils together, and before you know it, oh, there's 4 winning tickets. There's 3 winning tickets. There's 7 winning tickets. We're going to get back to 3 weeks ago, we hit 7. The week before, we hit 6. The week before, we hit 8. The last 2 weeks, we've been it's a bad week when we only get 4 and 3. You know, for our squad, if we only get 3 winning tickets, that's a bad week. So last week we had 3. This week we had 4. We're going to get it. We're going to get back into 5+. My goal is 5+. Let's go. I love you, Sue. That's my one of my older sisters. I grew up with 3 sisters. You guys know that. Tapping in, a family member tapping into the work. Thank you, Sue. Connor Benn will do to Regis what he did to Algeria and Heerden. People forget about Von Heerden. Benn bringing a washed veteran up 2 weight classes at Crucified. Bro. Bro. What's up, GK? GK, where you been at? Estrada tension. I don't think so. I think you're overthinking it. I don't think tension's that dude. I think Estrada's going to outclass him, outseason him. Estrada over 40+ pro fights, only 35 years old. Pedigree, seasoning, skill set, range, timing, distance. The thing he's going to have to be worried of is tension, speed. Other than that, Estrada's a real pro. Think about it, guys. This is fitting into our formula. I told you guys Irma Garcia versus Emma Dolan. Irma Garcia, 30+ pro fights, Mexican, Latin American fighter, going as to the UK. Another one of our patterns that we picked up on is a fighter with under 10 pro fights fighting a seasoned veteran. The fighter with under 10 pro fights is the A side. Now, Tenshin isn't the favorite here, but he is the A side. It is in Japan. I think Estrada does what he wants with him. I think he's going to domesticate him early and win a points decision. Aussie knocked out Pavel's only draw. Yeah, Aussie's an animal. I don't even think this fight is close. Then again, I could get sort of like, sometimes I could be guilty of being blinded by like athletic gifted freaks. You know, maybe because I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I see fighters who are Cuban. I see fighters who are just like conditioned to the bone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything's professional, not drinking, like, have skill, power. I'm like, this kid. And I like the size Iglesias has. I like his aggression. I like his style. I think the Russian's going to be in over his head. I think he's going to wilt. I don't know if Pavel's going to have enough power to get Osley's respect. So the money line bet isn't a great play yet, but I'm waiting for props to drop. We'll see. It could be, maybe Pavel could draw him out to a decision. Maybe we could get good odds on that, but I don't think it's a close decision. I think Osley is good. I think his power and his speed and athleticism, he's going to be able to do what he wants with the Russian. Give us your insight. I already did. It's in the Discord. Power Canal. I already did. I just told you in the Discord. One of my boys is a boxer. He sparred with Terrell this camp. He was like, bro, Terrell's real slick. Doesn't have a lot of power. Great boxer. Easy points decision. Tension is one of the cash cows in Japan. Estrada is on upset alert. Yeah, but we said that last time Tension fought, man. Tension did not look good against um anyway. Tanaka anyway. And the good thing about the Japanese cards are fair, man. I've seen Japanese fighters, A-side fighters, in close decisions lose. And I look at this matchup akin to Sugar Nunes came over and he fought Rikishi. So I look in terms of like I look at Estrada versus Tension in terms of the matchmaking and how the fight is going to go. Nunes wide point decision against Rikishi. How do I watch the Terrell card? Well, we have one of our guys, one of our secret VIPs in our Discord is going to be streaming it. So you are an insider, Power Channel. I see that tick by your name. Whenever the fights start, just pop into the Discord and it'll be playing in there. Palooka. Yeah, see, that's not that's $1.36. See, it's almost do I think the Russian has pedigree to him. Give me some time on that prop. Eye of the Tiger, man. We've been winning a lot on Eye of the Tiger cards too. The knockouts usually come on those cards too. Dude. Eye of the Tiger card's been treating us well, almost like the No Limit card, except Timmy by knockout. But in terms of the A side money line, I think I asked the group 2 nights ago if somebody could find the last time an A side lost on an Eye of the Tiger card, and it was about a half a year ago, the beginning of December, I think, when we had a big favorite, not Havanesian. That was you don't see it a lot. I kind of we're trying to place Eye of the Tiger promotions kind of similar to, what we see with Top Rank. Just the matchmaking isn't as good, but Top Rank, is a better. Whenever there's a Top Rank card as a better, you're going A side. Johnny, what's the difference between level 1 and level 2? Couldn't find the join button due to my region, but I turned my... he's good. Level 1 and level 2, they both get you in. It's just that our level 2s, once a month, you get to specifically request one of my Stats Don't Lie video breakdowns. So, Luis, if you're new to the channel, go to my fight prediction playlist. You'll see the edited 10 to 15-minute video where it's like I use my expensive equipment. The camera's back there. And, I make it look like a mini movie. And so any fight of your choice, no matter how big it is or how small it is, I'll do a breakdown analysis prediction and shout you out. It's like a personalized video. So that's the benefit of level 2. Whichever way you choose, you get into the Discord. The only GK, I'm focusing on Aussie, Huni, Estrada. I like it, man. GK, when you come to terms with the Estrada Tension fight, let me know who you like. Matt, what's up, Matt B? Does Connor wait? What's up, big dog? I appreciate the super chat. Matt B says, does Connor wagering come into play? Now, the thing is about Connor wagering, we know Connor came up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a smaller guy. He's not a physically big dude. But those 2 fights that he came up to fight Chris Eubank Jr. at 160, it's not like Connor was even weighing 160 on fight night. I think he weighed in the first fight 158.5, maybe even a little bit lower than that. So he's not a big dude. And guys, this fight's at 150. So that being said, I think if anything, what he learned, the lessons he learned, those 2 fights with Eubank Jr. in terms of dealing with his body weight, even though it's a different question, it's on the opposite end. He had to go up. I think those 2 experiences, those 2 fight camps of learning how to go up and manage weight, manage body composition, I think he's probably learned a lot how to come back down. And so I don't think it's going to be a thing. I think more than anything, there is no rehydration clause as well. That is crazy to me because it's not like, once again, it's not like Connor's going to rehydrate to 185 or pull like a Ryan Garcia and come in at like, 20%, 20% more. But no rehydration clause. They got to weigh 150. I could see Conor Benn coming in maybe, he probably walks like 160. He's not that big of a dude, so it's not like he has to cut. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he was a super middleweight or a middleweight cutting down uh, to fight at 150. Black Thunder for the upset over. Oh, got some drugs. My man's taking a Garco to beat. No, I'm not betting against Brandon Adams, man. I think Brandon Adams been one of them ones. I think Brandon Adams is a name nobody calls out. Brandon Adams does a lot of things well. Brandon Adams is a very well-rounded fighter, very underrated fighter. People sleep on him. Dude, when everybody talks about fighters at 154, no one says his name. Man, you could put Brandon Adams in there with anybody at 154. You're gonna be in for a dog fight. Do you see decision or stoppage in the Hooney fight? Look, give me some time. I'm wrestling too, Mosby. I'm conventional wisdom says points because Hooney's not the biggest of punchers, but Fraser Clark has been known to disappear in there. And Hooney throws a lot of volume. And this fight is in the UK. And I could see one of those classic standing, one of these joints where it's like, Clark is here and Hooney is just fucking, and then the refs, that's fucking it. That's it. Like that bullshit with freaking Terrell Gachet. I'm still salty about that bullshit with Yo-Yo versus Terrell Gachet. Yo-Yo wasn't even landing cleanly. Terrell Gachet was working his game plan, working his way through, bringing it into the mid to late rounds. They stopped that fight. You act like I don't take this shit serious. I'm still pissed that prop didn't hit. That bullshit ass early ass. I need to see these referees tax slips. I need to see if that ref for Terrell Gachet versus Yo-Yo put a parlay in or put a prop at the local casino. Because think about all the power these refs have. They know that Yo-Yo is a minus freaking 1,000, but they know Yo-Yo on points is like a plus 300, and he knows he's in control of the outcome. So why can't he tell little homie on the side, hey, little homie on the side, here's 10 G's. Put this on Yo-Yo by stoppage. How you know it's going to be stopped, though? Terrell ain't never been put that shit on a stoppage. I got this. And then they go put that on a stop. This is all conspiratorial chat, but you got to think about that, man. The refs have a lot more power than we think, especially with these outcomes. So, historically, what patterns do we see in the UK? The classic UK early stoppage. Think about the Hooney count, Hooney versus Wardley. They gave Justice Hooney a 6-second count moment. Justice is up 11-0, dog walking him, gets caught because he showed us one of the lowest fight IQ moments in recent history. He could have just used the entire ring for 4.5 minutes. His whole career would be in a different spot. Anyway, he doesn't. He gets dropped, and the ref waves it off after 6 seconds. That's it. So that was a little bit different of what I'm seeing about the standing stoppages, but the UK is known for that. Not many people have done that. Dude, Estrada, dude, people sleep on El Gallo, man. I'm very confident in El Gallo. I know that, and I take GK as an insider, and GK, I value. Look, the longer we're on the same team, you guys, we're gonna see our relationship is gonna evolve, and we've disagreed in the past. We've agreed in the past, GK and I. But one thing I do is value his opinion. And I value, like, all you guys, whether guys and girls, because we have about 5% of ladies in our Discord. To all the new members in the Discord, remember, it could be your mom in there, it could be your sister, it could be your girlfriend, it could be your auntie. Act like a gentleman, please. And for the most part, 99.9% of the time, you boys do. So I appreciate you do. You appreciate you, but we do have 5% women in our Discord. So with that in mind, I appreciate I respect GK's perspective. He said earlier on the chat that he wasn't sold yet, and even Julius, who I bring on the show. You guys have seen Julius and I go back and forth. He's given us some great calls over the last 6 months. Julius is one of our local snipers. He has a good eye for the game. He's saying that he could see Tension getting a sneaky hometown sort of buzz based off of the momentum and the superstar shine that Tension has. But I don't see it. I think Estrada is a lot to deal with. Now, Tension will have the hand speed, but I think Estrada has the seasoning and skill to be able to navigate that. Josh Oken is a dog. Now we're talking UFC. We'll get there. We'll get there. Matt Morgan said, guys, however you can support the channel, whether it's a super chat, whether you become a JSB insider, whether you like the video, between 70 and 90 right now, it means a lot to me. Matt goes, I always bet on the Mexican fighter if it's a UK fighter. And guys, this has nothing to do with race. This has nothing to do with anything other than picking up on statistics and patterns. Now, I wouldn't say I always bet on the Mexican fighter versus the UK fighter in the UK, but I guarantee you it's part of my film study and it should be part of yours too. Like it's a thing. Now, I'm sure we have instances dating back before Bronco Lara went to the UK and he became sort of the UK Reaper. And then, I always saw every time I bring Bronco Lara up, no, what happened to him? But yeah, Osley gave the guys. Osley could crack, man. And the thing about, yeah, the more, dude, it's only Wednesday. The more this fight week continues, the more I watch Osley Iglesias' tape, I'm gonna be like, this. It's gonna be really hard for me not to pick Osley Iglesias by knockout. I mean, the dude is. We'll see. Yeah, Brandon Adams gets the W, man. Brandon Adams is. I watching what he did to Bohacek again, and then I was cautious. Brandon beat that ass though. And Brandon was the dog. Brandon went in there. He had that long layoff. Hasn't been the most active guy. He went in there and beat up Bohacek. Don't get it twisted. Don't even look. That wasn't a close fight. And then I was still hesitant because I was like, all right, let me see what Bohacek looks after this fight. Is maybe Serhi, that style, you've heard me say this before, that Bohacek style doesn't age well. But then Bohacek fights Butiev and looked like normal Bohacek and won a close decision, but Serhi was far from done. So it's like, Brandon's a lot to deal with. Brandon's a smart fighter. For everything he does in there that's good, something that I really like about him is his decision-making process, his punch selection, and his ability to control where the fight goes, where it takes place. If you want to be Brandon Adams, you're going to have to make him uncomfortable. Is Garko going to be able to do that? I don't think so. Estrada fight to go the distance. There are no safe bets. There are no safe bets, boys. We know that, boys and girls. There are no safe bets. I like right now, guys. Let's look at the odds right now on the money line. Look at it. I mean, a 62% return, guys. There's some boys in our Discord who bet $10,000 on fights. You're getting a $10,000 bet on Estrada on the money line, gets your money back plus $6,200. A 62% return on a single is great return. It's not my style of bet because I'm not betting with a $10,000 bankroll, but that $1.62 money line is very valuable, and I will play that as a double for plus money. So will he win on points? The sharp money, I mean, the smart money is at a plus 120. This kind of reminds me of Renee Santiago last week. We sniped Renee Santiago by decision at plus 120 as our prop of the week, which hit. I could see myself doing this again. I could see myself but then again, man, the danger in that is tension folding to the pressure, tension collapsing, tension having these sort of mental breaks and questioning himself. And so that could happen. And then you see a veteran and Guile pouring it on, because any seasoned veteran, in an opponent who isn't experienced, and don't give me the kickboxing experience. This is way different. When the veteran sees the opponent who's less experienced doubting themselves or just showing the slightest sign of being hesitant, that's when you have another gear, and then a stoppage could be in play. So it just depends on where your bankroll is, the risk you're willing to take. I could see a stoppage, and I could see. It's been a while. I don't think Estrada's had a stoppage in 5 years. Let's pull that up. Maybe 6 years? Look, I do a lot of film study. I might be thinking about somebody else. Cortez. I hate this. I hate BoxRec on. Yeah, so I was right. Estrada hasn't had a stoppage in 6 years since he stopped Quadras. I got a memory on me, don't me? I sometimes I have to second guess my own memory because I don't want to, I'm not trying to come off as some sort of. But yeah, so you have to think about that too. Estrada hasn't stopped somebody since Carlos Quadras in 2020, 6 years ago. So he's 35 now. If anything, I don't think he's degrading at all, though, man. His timing's really good. I don't think I don't think tension should be in there with him though. I don't. I think tension's gonna be outclassed. So a stoppage is in play. I don't know if that's the bet that I'm willing to risk for my. You know what I mean? The stoppage for me right now doesn't seem logical. Points seems more logical, and why press it when we're already getting plus money on points? Do you think Liam gets it done by points tonight? We up. Appreciate you, Jess. So I brought this up. I have Liam on a double. I have Liam on the money line. I think Liam will get it done. The thing about Talavaha, and he's going in there against another big boy, is that when you watch Talavaha's tape, you would think that he was a knockout artist. He's still learning, man. He could punch, but he's learning on how to set things up. And just because you get hit hard doesn't mean that always leads to knockouts. So, he's still learning. He's working on his timing. He's fighting another big boy. These are big boys, man. And Liam's not a big heavyweight. He's not a big. He's a crafty heavyweight, not a big heavyweight. Crafty southpaw, who in moments could punch, in moments. But I think this guy he's fighting is going to be durable. I think his opponent's been stopped a couple times too. Actually, let's check the odds first if we're getting props on that. Okay, Apelu. Yeah, interesting. So that's what you're working with, guys. Full transparency, the only bet I'm playing tonight that I'm playing is I have Talava'a on the money line and a double at plus money with another fight. Now, if you want to sit on an island, let me show you who he's taking. I think it might be an 8-rounder too. You got to ask yourself, how many rounds is this? He's only a 6'1" heavyweight. Not a big dude. He's only been, no amateur background. I was, he walked into Bondi Boxing Club similar when Mateo Tapia walked in, 2019, 2020-ish, turned over in 2022, had only been training with Tony Del Vecchio a few years. And so I like how they've been moving him domestically. He's very athletic. Talava's strengths are going to be his athleticism and his speed. And so if and when he learns how to set his power up with timing and traps, then I think the knockouts are going to come more. Right now, he's just a brash guy who wants to get on the front foot and sort of like will his way to a knockout. When you climb levels, you have to set knockouts up. You can't will your way to a knockout. It is admirable to watch. It's a lot of, it makes for great fights and you gain a following that way. But I'd like to see Liam be a little bit more patient and set his shots up. Let's see. Let's go to his opponent. So Figa O'Paley. I just want to check how many rounds this. No, I think it's an 8-rounder. I was told. Yeah, guys, this is an 8-rounder. Keep that in mind. Liam's only 6'1". I'll check how tall. How tall is Figa O'Paley? O'Paley. 6'2". So they have O'Paley listed at 5'11" or 6'1" or 6'2". Samoan. See, he got stopped against Chris Tershesky, who's a cruiserweight, isn't he? Or a bridgerweight. Chris Tershesky, I think, might be a bridgerweight, which is like a weird division. He's coming off a knockout win. He got stopped against Joseph Goodall in 2024. He got stopped against Joe Parker in 2023. He got stopped against Lucas Brown in 2021. He got stopped against Justice Hooney in 2020. I mean, why not? I mean, the kid's been stopped. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of his 6 losses, he got stopped 4 times. They're the same age. They're about the same size, same height. It just depends on your bankroll and how risky you want to get. You know what? For an emotional bet, let's see what Liam by knockout. I think it's probably going to go points. Yeah, guys, I think it's probably going to go points. Samoans are tough as nails, man. You got to hit a Samoan. You got to hit an Islander. You got to hit a Maori with a goddamn fire hydrant. These boys could take a hit, dude. Durable. They got chins on them, dude. They can take flush shots. Like, I think this goes the distance now that I'm thinking about it. Yo, Luis Carlo Triciano, the big fella. He made it. Sean Porter said he hated sparring Brandon, but he just inconsistent. Gaumont, yeah. We're still salty. Alexandre Gaumont. He was like a freaking -1,000, wasn't he? Sheesh. Keys, Fraser Clark could have easily been stopped last fight. He got stumbling over 2 rounds. I don't know how they didn't stop it. That was a weird fight. Keys, I'm seeing a lot. I know you're in the UK. I'm seeing a lot of the Brits taking TKV. I don't know how much of that has to do with Riakpo and his celebrity status. You know what I'm saying? Like, boxing fans traditionally en masse kind of don't like. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I've seen a lot of the Brits going against Riakpo, and I've seen a lot of the Brits going against Connor, which is crazy. I've watched 2 different content creators saying that Regis is going to win. I'm like, what are we doing? Is this just what's going on here? But I am this is the usually by my Wednesday, I stop watching other people's content because my boots are dug in. I'm probably not going to watch anyone else's content starting tomorrow. But watching the Brits break down TKV versus Riakpo, they have me second guessing my pick. They do. But that's always part of the game for me. I'm always second guessing everything. Maybe that's my own neurosis. Krolla got knocked down 3 times. Okay, so hey, maybe that pattern's changing. Maybe we are seeing a change in the guard. But over the last few years, I've seen a lot of early stoppages in the UK. But you're right, Krolla, if he dies, he dies. What a comeback. I like Santana. That's a fun fight, though. We'll talk about it. David Morrell was the greatest thing since sliced bread. David B showed him levels. Katiev decisively whooped him. He did. Remember the odds? Yeah. Yeah. No. He dropped him too, man. We won money on Morrell against Katiev. But that was, I think we might have got a gift, and no one's calling out Katia. Estrada is even odds in the UK. Estrada was a 1-2 favorite a few hours ago. Now it's near even. Bro, get on it. I like Estrada a lot. Yeah, he went 12 with Anyway's brother. Not Naoya anyway, though. But his brother's tough. Refs 100% corrupt. Thomas Taylor is very deep into it. Is Thomas Taylor have a hairpiece? Look, like on a side note, I was looking at Thomas Taylor's hair setup. That hair setup he was rocking was like, why is he always getting involved too? Thomas Taylor, man, just take a step back. Let the boys fight. You always getting at that point to Doug. Now granted, was he the ref this past weekend in that horrible in the Cortez fight? Was he the ref taking points off for no reason? King of Fitness on a heater. Bro, you're always on a heater, King. This is what you do. Like you need to rephrase your rhetoric moving forward. You're not on a heater. You just live on the like this. What you do, bro? Rando, lights happening over an hour into the live. Rando, we are an hour and 6 minutes in. You're just tapping in, boys. We're flirting between 70 and 90 in the live stream. Could you thumbs up this video? Listen to Rando Light. Let's get them likes up, man. It is really kind of embarrassing that we don't have at least 50 likes. Opelu fought better opposition. True. But he didn't fare too well. It does you can't that's why that perimeter doesn't always work. The philosophy of using strength of schedule as a perimeter of who's going to win doesn't always work, because what good is fighting the better opposition when you're getting knocked out in the first round? What good is that? Also, I think that at this stage of their careers, this is just from what I'm seeing, Liam Talavaa is being more molded into a potential prospect at heavyweight, and Opelu is more of a journeyman. So when we're talking about promotional trajectory, that sort of thing, I mean, Liam's the A side getting a main event. You know what I'm saying? Because he's always in exciting fights. This is going to be an exciting fight. Liam is going to exchange with you. So it could end early. Both of these guys got a beard on them. We'll see. Yeah, I told you I'm not betting that fight. Estrada dropped Lugo 3 times in the last fight, May, and a 12-rounder, he would have stopped him. Ooh, so now what are you leaning? Boots 7-12, Talga's throwing in 8, Megan. Okay, you guys see a lot of the Brits are taking TKV, man. Already locked in. All right, let's go. Thomas always wants. Can't Thomas just chill out and let the boys just fight? Why's Thomas always tripping, man? Thomas. And I try hard to be fair. You never hear me. You guys have never heard me demonstrably sound like evil or negative towards people. Even when we get trolled online, even when we got other people talking trash about us, I'm always responding to it with a laugh and a smile. So I'm not one to like bash people. It's just not in my nature to. Like I look at life as we're playing. Life is play. You should have fun. But I'm not a negative guy to bash people, and I give a lot. Watching Thomas Taylor ref lately though, bro. If I had to categorize, I look at Thomas Taylor reffing akin to Max Kellerman doing color, akin to this. I'm not gonna say what I'm about to say. There's a coach that there's a cornerman I was gonna throw into that. All right, what cornerman would you add into our triangle based off of pattern recognition? Thomas Taylor's our ref. Max Kellerman's doing color. Who's the cornerman? Who's the coach? I'll tell you if you pick it right. Do you not rate Frazier Clark? No. That was a horrible fight. That was a terrible fight. I can't. That fight left such a bad taste. That was a bad fight, man. Not yet. It's coming. Not yet. Not to be finicky, but I think you mean barometer instead of perimeter. Barometer. Isn't barometer relating to weather? And perimeter is relating to the circumference of a space? Joe Cortez is the best fighter ever. Stay away out of the way. Yeah, beast. Can't trust Thomas since Thomas the Train. Thomas the Train won me money last week in the UFC, though. Who got a better gas tank, TKV or Richard? Good question. Good question. I was gonna say Atlas. I was gonna say Teddy, dude. I put Teddy Atlas, dude. Palooka, you win the prize. If we're looking at now, Teofimo Senior is in his own category. Teofimo Senior is more like who's an announcer that probably like would do their commentary drunk or hammered. Or like I put if Max Kellerman is announcing, Thomas Taylor's the ref, Teddy Atlas is in the corner, 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking. Teddy Atlas is the biggest. And look, you go, Teddy's a legend. He is a legend. He is a legend. But Teddy, people in the know that he is known for posturing when the camera is on. We talked about this before. Nothing, but this dude, to this day, Q Deontay Wilder, to this day, one day when we grow big enough and I could, learn how to use one of those soundboards, because I don't know, I'm just winging this, but I'd press a button and you'd hear Deontay, to this day. What is Teddy Atlas's most viral moment? 3, 2, 1. The Timothy Bradley fight against Rios. The fireman speech. Timothy Bradley was up 8-0. That's all I'm saying. Timothy Bradley was up 8-0, beating that ass. And Atlas had the audacity to put his fighter in danger, telling him to go out. We're in the fire. What are you talking about, dude? We are not getting touched in this fight. This is one of the easiest fights. And like the way history remembered it, dude. Boxing fans will tell you that Timothy Bradley, Joe Rogan will tell you that Timothy Bradley was down on the scorecards. That I had to stop listening to Joe a couple years ago. I think I told you the story before. One of the many reasons I had to stop listening to Joe was how he kind of helped Teddy go viral, lying about history and saying that Timothy Bradley was down on the scorecards and Teddy Atlas gave him this motivational speech and Timothy Bradley went out there and stopped him the next round. Well, there's some fact to that. And what do we always say? The truth is somewhere in the middle. This case, the truth was way on the other side. Timothy Bradley did go out there and stop Rios, but he was up every round. That was not even a close fight. It did. It did. It gets me hyped. Dude, I'm just letting you guys know the logic behind that. From a coaching perspective, you would never do that. You would never, in a sport where people die, in a sport where my guy could get injured, especially you want risk management. You want sort of like the greatest coaches are able to weigh their risk, telling your guy. It's one thing telling your guy, hey man, you better, think about the Chico Corrales versus Luis Castillo, the first fight, when the big dude was like, well, you better go now. And Chico goes out there and stops him. There's one thing with doing that. There's another thing with putting your fighter in unnecessary risk when he's dog walking his opponent just because the camera's on you. And you give this fireman speech. Come on, dude. The context was insane. Yeah, he's going to drag him into a dirty fight. Richard only has success at long range. Yep, that's what I'm betting on. I know you might not be touching the Mooney Sergey fight tonight, but do you think it goes over 6.5? Neither. Guys, you guys are savages. You guys are the best. I got one more client. Tune into the Discord. We got the fights in a couple hours. We have a busy week. Wherever you're in the world supporting me, I say thank you. I'll see you in the next one. I got to go, guys. You guys are the best.